Good afternoon and welcome to Many Paths, Many Visions, brought to you by the Labyrinth Society and with your host, Christiana Brinton. Today I have Katja Marquardt, TLS Finance Chair, as my guest. We will be discussing the Labyrinth Society's current donation drive and involvement with the Giving Tuesday global giving movement. Hi Katja, welcome to Many Paths, Many Visions. Thank you for joining me today.
Hello, Christiana. Thank you so much for having me on.
So, it's so funny to be that formal with each other because we're on the board together. But anyway, so let's just start from the beginning. What is hashtag Giving Tuesday, and why did you and the Finance Committee see it as a fit for the Labyrinth Society?
Okay, awesome question. Giving Tuesday is a global day of giving that draws upon social media and the practice of collaboration to encourage people to get involved in their communities and to help support organizations, charities, and events around the world, really. Giving Tuesday is celebrated on the Tuesday after American Thanksgiving, and it serves to kick off the charitable giving season that traditionally runs through to the end of the year.
Okay, and why is this particularly a fit for the Labyrinth Society? What makes this a worthwhile thing to join?
Well, there's a lot of reasons, some of which I'm sure we'll get into. But one of the main reasons is that, particularly over the last year or so, the Labyrinth Society has greatly expanded its presence in different social media avenues, but primarily Facebook. And the Finance Committee saw that as an opportunity to seek support and through donations that might come in through our Facebook community, as well as encouraging support and donation as part of the overall movement in the spirit of charitable giving through the end of the year with our members and non-members.
Okay, so is this a part of a larger Labyrinth Society end of year donation drive? And if so, how is this year different from past years, if it is, in terms of approach?
So every year the Labyrinth Society seeks end of year donations as part of the charitable giving season. However, in the past, TLS primarily sought these donations through an e-newsletter that was written by our president and sent to our membership sometime in December. This year, we decided, as I noted, we decided to expand upon that approach, and we're including our members and the numerous non-members that we have, many of whom only interact with TLS via social media. So the focus on Giving Tuesday really gives us that ability to tie in with the many thousands of non-TLS members that we have engaged over the last couple of years on Facebook.
Okay. So why would non-members, what makes Giving Tuesday so compelling as a means for motivating non-members and members?
Well, Giving Tuesday, based on a significant use of social media to promote the event, in and of itself is extremely compelling. The idea of using social media as a crowdfunding source to help support charities and organizations is a primary way of engaging in fundraising. That was a main draw for us. As with other crowdfunding events, small donations from hundreds or even thousands of people can make a huge impact. So TLS has now over 7,000 members on our global Facebook group, most of whom are not members of TLS. And our mission is really structured around supporting and serving everyone who creates, maintains, and uses labyrinths. And so that includes members and non-members. And although membership in TLS has numerous advantages, a person does not need to be a member of TLS to take advantage of the resources and opportunities that we offer. And nor do people need to be TLS members to participate in our Facebook community. And that community has really been active and has really grown over the last few years. So by engaging with both our members and our non-members through this event, we're creating the opportunity for labyrinth lovers around the world to make an impact with their donation of any amount to help support TLS.
So you're basically building on this whole crowdfunding movement that has, in some cases, raised millions of dollars. That's usually in tech areas and tech projects, but still, it is amazing what it does by grabbing the attention of people all around the world, and people just donating small amounts, and it just adds up. So that's really what this is about.
Absolutely. Yep.
Okay. So does Giving Tuesday, the organization, provide any support for participating in this global giving movement?
Well, Giving Tuesday itself as an organization has an extensive website with many, many resources available for organizations to use in their planning and promoting of the event. And TLS has registered as a participating charity for Giving Tuesday. And if folks go to their website, they can find us on their searchable database of participating groups, along with many thousands of other groups and organizations that are participating in the event.
So, and so they actually help publish or advertise this event for their participants, for the people who register, for the organizations who registered, anyone who registers.
They do. I mean, they promote the idea of Giving Tuesday, and they encourage participating organizations to use the hashtag Giving Tuesday in their promotions to let other people on the different social media venues know that those organizations are participating in the event as well.
And do they help advertising? If like TLS is advertising on their social media sites. Now, do they connect these to other sites, or to their community or to their participants so that it's a wider audience?
I believe so. I mean, I believe that, when TLS promotes Giving Tuesday by linking the hashtag Giving Tuesday, that connects the two organizations automatically on the social media pages.
And then from there, it's broadcast out to other people who wouldn't normally know about the Labyrinth Society.
Correct. Yeah. And as with other shareable resources, especially on Facebook, the more people share and promote using the hashtags and using the names of organizations, so sharing the post that TLS puts out through both our organizational page, but also our global groups page, the more that has the potential to spread to individuals who may not necessarily automatically get our promotions.
Okay. So let's talk about what the donations are for. I mean, as for a nonprofit, Labyrinth Society has a lot of projects on its plate. So can you talk a little bit about what kind of what these donations will help fund?
Oh goodness, where do I begin? Okay, let me give you a few examples. So donations collected through this event and donations collected now through the end of the year will be used to help fund many of our ongoing programs, such as our special projects, the development of a worldwide locator app, and our digital publication project. Additionally, TLS is due for a significant website upgrade, and so we are seeking additional funds to help support that upcoming project as well. So those are a few examples of how these funds will be used in 2018 to help support both ongoing and new initiatives on our horizon.
So and if they want to, so can you walk me through the process? So if someone sees the post in the page or in the global group, the Labyrinth Society global group, and they click on the link, then can they, does it go into just one big one fund pot, or can they actually just choose, can they choose something specific that the money can go to?
Oh, that's an excellent question. So when folks select the link to donate, they will be directed to the donations area of the Labyrinth Society website. And if folks are members of the Labyrinth Society already, at that point they should log in, and they will be able to proceed as a member making a donation. If they're not members, though, they can just go through the process step by step that they'll see on the page. They'll be asked to enter a little bit of contact information. And then yes, both members and non-members will have the option of donating any amount that they choose, and then they can select a donation category. So we have many donation categories available to choose from. One would just be like our general operating fund, but then we have things like the Gathering Scholarship Fund, Worldwide Labyrinth Day Fund, Annual Gathering Fund, Research Fund, online auction sponsorship, among some of the others that I already noted. Mm-hmm. And if a person donating money selects more than one category and they want their donation to be spread evenly across the categories, that would be one option. Or if they wanted to spread that donation out in different ways, they have an opportunity to indicate that as well.
Okay, so really, if you're a non-member and you're really interested in labyrinths in hospitals, or bringing labyrinths to your community, in senior care centers, or Alzheimer or hospice care centers, or things like that, you can then focus this donation in the research area, because you want research to be boosted and the money there to be used so that you can personally benefit from this, if with your community, but if you're interested in creating a labyrinth for some community organization. So there is actually a choice that non-members as well as members can make when they donate any level of money.
Right, exactly. Yep, and that's one of the beautiful things about the donation page that we have, is you can make that choice. And so if you are really passionate about a specific area of work that TLS has, you can say, I would like these funds to go towards that specific area. So let's say it's something like special projects, where you really want your funds to be used towards helping to fund other labyrinth projects that people are working on around the world. And that might be certain types of labyrinth research, or it might be other, in years past, we've had, scout projects come through, or other types of very community specific labyrinth projects that have applied for special project status and special projects funding. And so we like to help in that way, and that person could choose to have their donation go towards supporting something very specific like that.
Okay. And so we do have someone else on the line with us. Janice Lewis, the membership chair, is listening in, and she asked us to talk more about the hashtag. Now, if you're not familiar with Twitter, what is hashtag Giving Tuesday? What is that? What is a hashtag? What does that do?
Yeah. Well, I'm not a Twitter user myself, so I may not have the correct answer for this. But my understanding is that when you hashtag something on Twitter, you're connecting with that particular name or organization or event. So that's creating another link. I'm I may be incorrect with that as a non-Twitter user, but that's my understanding of it.
Yeah, and anytime you use that link, that hashtag Giving Tuesday, it 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 bounces back to the Giving Tuesday movement and increases participation or increases um, uh, what's the word? Increases the scope of of the focus. You know what I'm saying? Like more
Mm-hmm.
people see it. The more time you use it, the more people see it, and the more then that you um, then it will be beneficial. It will continue. It's like exponential. So the
Yeah.
more it's shown in the post, and the more people use it, the more and more people will see it.
Right. Yeah. And I mean that's the whole point, right? Like that's the power of using social media to help with movements like this, because a little bit, somebody just saying one thing on their social media feed, but um, tying it in with a link or a hashtag or tagging their friends or something like that, that can really help to spread that message.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and it helps with the Google Drive too because they use that also, for search engine optimization, don't they? I mean, is that connected to because when they see that, then that's a name for a category that they then connect. I don't know, but I could be off on this. And unfortunately, we don't have our web chair here with us. Um,
Right.
but oh well. So, the hashtag is recognized and it's out there and it's been used for Giving Tuesday's been around for a number of years. This is not a new thing this year at all. It's been
Correct. I believe it started in, oh goodness, I read this, when did it start? 2012 is when it started. So this is not a new event. It's been around for 5 years now.
right, right. So this hashtag is a well-known moniker. It's a well-known icon for and Giving Tuesday. One of the things that I meant to say because I have been um, creating some of this stuff and using the toolkit that they offer to any organization and the other thing is that it's not just it's just like not just nonprofits.
Mm-hmm.
It's churches and school groups and
Yeah, communities.
yeah,
There's information for local governments to get involved, and many different types of organizations, from a very global scope all the way down into your local community.
right, right. So the
Yeah.
toolkit that they have and they've actually created this for registrants for participants is fairly extensive. Excuse me. And getting over a cold. And it provides not only ways to get involved, it takes you through an entire year of preparation, which is really amazing. I mean, they've really done their background foundational work for this to make sure that this movement is a success.
Yes,
And
it's very impressive.
yeah, and um, and so like one of the things is that they have I don't know how many a dozen different images that you can use depending on the space that you're creating it for. It's they have banner images. They have just like images that look like a heart. They have the words. They have all different types of images that you can use to publicize this in many different ways, Instagram and all different social media sites, but also in hard copy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, and this is available. You don't have to pay for it. It's if you're registered for this, you don't have to pay for, using the toolkit or anything. But tell me, what is the agreement with um, with Giving Tuesday as far as the money's collected, and distinguish, explain a little bit about how that works. So normally, what does it go through Facebook or?
That it can be many different ways. There's no specific agreement that we've had to abide by to be involved with this. So we really had flexibility to decide how we wanted to collect funds. That being said, there are many organizations and there are some donors as well that have publicly announced that they would provide matching funds in support of Giving Tuesday or things like that. So there are other ways that funds can be collected and distributed. This year, what TLS is doing is we are directing folks to donate straight through our website. So whenever somebody clicks on a link through one of our social media posts, they will go directly to our website to proceed with the donation process. And that would be the same sort of process that a person would go through even if they just went to our website without clicking on a Giving Tuesday link.
Okay.
However, in future years, we may decide to participate through some of these other supportive collaborations. So one example of that is Facebook, for example, has announced that on Giving Tuesday, they will not collect processing fees from charitable organizations that are able to collect donations directly through the Facebook payments platform. So folks might encounter other charities that are within their circle that are also participating, that are collecting funds through these other means. And it's really nice to know that companies like Facebook have made that declaration, that they're not soliciting a processing fee off of those funds on that day.
And so there is a processing fee to work through Giving Tuesday?
No, there's no processing fee. Giving Tuesday does not handle money at all. They're not in the business of collecting money in this whole event. They're just supporting the event in terms of helping, with the toolkit that you talked about and spreading the word and supporting organizations. So they are not collecting money.
Okay.
I should backtrack. They might collect money for their own organization. I don't know anything about, but they're not collecting funds on the behalf of the Labyrinth Society in this event.
Okay. And so for next year, you mentioned that briefly. So let me just make some key points here. Number one, Giving Tuesday is one Tuesday, which is the 28th of November, but the Labyrinth Society, you can donate to the Labyrinth Society anytime you want. And for the rest of this year, it will be a huge help if we can reach that $7,000 donation goal that we have set up, correct?
Correct, yeah. So for this year, Giving Tuesday falls on November 28th. Traditionally, it's always the Tuesday after American Thanksgiving. So that date happens to be the 28th this year. And it's a way to really, kick off the giving season. So yes, we are hoping to really do a big social media push and collection of support on Tuesday the 28th. However, we want people to be aware of the fact that they can donate at any point through the end of the year as part of their annual giving to charities that they might be doing anyway at the end of the year to help us reach our $7,000 goal by the end of 2017.
Okay. And so for next year, you mentioned it briefly about maybe involving Facebook, being involved with Facebook too. But what do you hope to create for next year when you have an entire year to plan for it? I mean, what would you like to see happen in terms of, from your finance committee standpoint?
That's a good question. Well, I really hope that we are going to create a lot of excitement around this event this year. And I hope that we will create even greater excitement and support for the Giving Tuesday event and for the Labyrinth Society next year. So as you know, next year is a major anniversary year for the Labyrinth Society. And I really hope that we can generate enough support to launch the Labyrinth Society into a phase of expanded growth for years to come. And I really see Giving Tuesday and end of year giving as being something that can really help with that. You know, there are so many opportunities that are, some that are known and many that are unknown to us at this point, for TLS to help support the growing global labyrinth movement. And part of what we need to serve our community is ongoing financial support. So I am really hopeful that we can begin collecting support with this year's event, and that support will only grow with the Giving Tuesday event next year.
And so, in order for the Labyrinth Society to grow and ensure the continuation of the TLS's mission and goals for the future, I mean, because now you've got a 20th anniversary next year. Mm-hmm. You've had 20 years to you and some other organizations like Veritas have really made the Labyrinth a viable means of communities, helping communities get together, process stuff, solve things. I mean, it's being used in so many ways. And so, but it takes money to keep funding this. Mm-hmm. Excuse me. So, are there any plans for additional forms of giving?
Yes, there are. You know, the Finance Committee is always hard at work trying to find ways to you know, encourage people to consider how they can help support the Labyrinth Society, and that may not be through monetary donations either. But you know, in particular, this last year, our Finance Committee has been working on developing information on ways to support TLS through ongoing planned giving options. And these are things like qualified charitable distributions, donations of appreciated securities, and charitable bequests. So like writing the Labyrinth Society in your will, for example. And our goal with these funds is to use them to support a long-term endowment fund for the Labyrinth Society, unless otherwise specified by the donor. And that idea of a longer-term endowment fund is one of the things that will really help ensure that continuation of our mission, our goals for the future. And that's something that the Finance Committee has, as I said, been working on through 2017, and we're planning on sharing more information about these options in the upcoming year.
Great. Yeah, because I think that a lot of people see the Labyrinth Society as, you know, they imagine that it's this huge organization and it's heavily funded or heavily endowed, and that's not really the case.
No, no, it's not.
Yeah, and so getting involved with other types of ways to support the Labyrinth Society is really vital for the health and well-being of the continuation of the organization. And it's something that all other nonprofits do. I mean, you know, Cancer Society, Alzheimer's, you know, they all do this. Mm-hmm. They have, you know, the big ones have their own departments just doing this kind of planning. So this is something that the Labyrinth Society is looking at, it seems to me, to really up the grade, up the involvement, um, um, the participation level of its members and non-members, because the most of the stuff on the Labyrinth Society on the pages and the website is pretty much free. I mean, yes, you have a members only area, but you can get a lot of information just going into the resource section and going into the media section and all of those areas. Anybody can look. Anybody can find stuff. Um, so uh, this is doing the Giving Tuesday, creating the registering for Giving Tuesday is just one aspect of this larger plan.
Correct. Excuse me. Yeah, I mean, one of the beautiful things about the Labyrinth Society that you alluded to is we have so many resources available to people free of charge. And the reality is it still takes financial support to be able to provide those resources. And we aren't a huge organization in the grand scheme of things. We don't have any endowments. We have a lot of good that we do in the world. We have a large global network of people that are engaging with us. We have more than 7,000 people on our Facebook global group. And most of those people are not members.
Yeah.
And so, we have a need to receive support in many different ways. I mean, people can support us through volunteering. They can support us through financial means. They can support us through spreading our word and sharing more about TLS in their networks. There's lots of different ways that people can support us. Mm-hmm. The more growth and development we have, though, the more we do have a need also for financial support to be able to continue doing the work that we're doing and to continue growing those opportunities and developing new opportunities.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this is, I think it's a great step that TLS has taken with Giving Tuesday. I think it's really very much in alignment with the expansion of our social media presence. And I'm very excited about it and excited about the posts that we've been putting up. And mm-hmm. I hope everyone enjoys these posts and enjoys participating.
Well, I hope so too, and I'm so thankful to be able to share more about the event on your podcast, and I hope that if people have ongoing questions, they don't hesitate to contact us either. So, whether it's sending us an email, through the website or contacting us directly. I'm on Facebook, and I'm see posts that go to the pages, both the global group and the TLS Facebook page. And so hopefully if folks do have questions, they'll find many different ways to get those questions answered.
Yes, absolutely. And they can email me too anytime they want, and as the PR person and chair. And so I think that we've pretty much covered all the bases. What do you think, Katja?
I think we have. Now it's just up to everybody else.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah, this has been great.
Okay, great. So Janice is gone.
Yep.
And we are going to, I think, end this session.
All right.
It's been a pleasure sharing this hour with you, and thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you.
You've been listening to the Labyrinth Society's Many Paths, Many Visions, broadcast by Spreaker, with your host, Christiana Brinton. Be sure to check the Labyrinth Society website, Facebook page, and global group for a list of upcoming dates and guests. Also, if this podcast has piqued your interest in the Labyrinth Society and you'd like more information about membership, please go to www.labyrinthsociety.org membership/membership. Thank you for listening to this podcast episode, and may you find what you need on your path through life. Namaste, and happy Thanksgiving.